In episode number 350 of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, we cover what's new on Netflix for June 2019, and we have some really big hitters heading our way.
We also discuss Warner Brothers' plans for Tom King to co-write the new Gods movie.
It is that week, that time of the month, that's right, the previews catalog is here, and we've got some great highlights from that book.
All of this and so much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every single week, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I am Juggler Daniel.
Do you even know how to juggle?
I'm a manager. I juggle all kinds of shit every fucking day I work. I put out fires as well. I double as a fucking firefighter.
I'm pretty sure that's not what the Pokemon jugglers are juggling.
Are you sure they're not all managers?
I'm pretty sure they're not because they're in their weird dresses.
Well, they juggle. Maybe they manage jugglers.
Okay. I am your Emperor Papa Kelly.
For any brokettes new to the show, the way we format it is first we go through some news. We'll head into what's new on Netflix, then our Patreon shoutouts, which are thank yous for everyone that makes the show that you are listening to possible every single week. We go into a comic book, or in this week, previews catalog highlight for the month, and we end it with our Brokette block, which is the more personal side of the podcast where Papa Kelly and I have been.
But we're going to jump right into our news with a trailer, a movie that I didn't know that I needed. And then after I saw this trailer, I said, yes, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. My entire life has been for this moment. But we saw our first glimpse of the Terminator Dark Fate trailer this week.
How do we win? We win by keeping you alive.
I did not think that this would be the movie that you got hyped over. I know you like Terminator 2, but I thought I like Terminator 2. I didn't think you loved it.
I didn't. I don't. I was like, nah, Terminator 2. And then I'm reading through, everything about this trailer, right? Because I hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, oh, great. They're just pushing women to be strong women, right? No, not the case. Well, I mean, yes, it probably is the case, but it was so fucking awesome.
Do you know that this is the one that James Cameron was saying completely ignores Terminator 3, 4, 5, all the ones after 2?
Good. All the ones we don't care about.
This is the one that takes place right after Terminator 2.
I mean, like way after Terminator 2.
Well, sure. But he's saying this is the true sequel to the Terminator films. And you get obviously you get Schwarzenegger making an appearance in here.
Yeah, wasn't expecting him. There he was with his beard. I didn't know Terminators could grow beards, but there he was.
So I guess what they established in Terminator 3, and I don't know if that's the same reason that they're going to have in this one, is that the skin does age like regular human skin to better help them cope with the timeline that they are in case they have a mission that is long term. So that would explain why Arnold, even if they didn't give us an explanation, we're just happy to see fucking Arnold.
They don't have to give me an explanation. Just Arnold. They could pretend he's the same age. I don't fucking care.
I don't expect to see him in that movie as much as the rest of the characters. I think he's more just going to be a kind of glorified cameo.
Of course, but they have to show him in the trailer so that we're even more hyped about it.
It does look like you mentioned the star is going to be a different non-Terminator, but some kind of cybernetic type of human that is going to be the main action star to this Terminator film. But then you do have Linda Hamilton kind of carrying that nostalgia for us, or rather having been that connection to the old Terminator movies, as she does return as not a badass Sarah Connor. It's still Sarah Connor. She's still a fucking badass like we saw in Terminator 2. She continued her fucking training.
And she looks amazing for her age. Amazing. Like, I want to look like that when I grow up.
carrying around fucking rocket launchers, shotguns, fucking he's B-Chan Terminator. You ain't got shit on I fucking fought the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator in Terminator 1. I fucking fought the Goo Silver Surfer Terminator, the T-2000 in Terminator 2. That shit was fucking amazing. And it's going to be hard when you're following up Terminator 2, which has some of the best action scenes in cinema, some of the best touching moments, even when the Terminator touches John and touches the tear on his face and said, "I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do." It's so fucking good. It's like the Terminator can almost feel, or at least understand, human emotion. "I order you not to go. I order you." "I can't, Chan, I can't."
Well, you know why he can't cry? Because you know what happens when he cries? It just turns into snowflakes.
Oh my God, Mr. Freeze. Hell yeah.
Just tied it all together. Look at that.
So why are you hyped for this movie from 20th Century Fox and Paramount Pictures?
Well, first I'll give you the premise, but then we'll really break down the trailer and the emotions that I felt when watching this. So the premise that we got is, quote, "More than 2 decades after the events of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton, sets out to protect a young woman named Danny Ramos, played by Natalia Reyes, and her friends as a liquid metal Terminator, played by Gabriel Luna, sent from the future attempts to terminate them," end quote. So, a premise that we've seen forever. All the time is Terminator 2 again.
As expected.
As expected. What else do you want? But then I'm watching this, right? 0 expectations. I'm like, whatever, Terminator movie. You're the one who likes the Terminator movies. But we see these 2 badass chicks and this weird, like, gross Terminator guy who's kind of like Venom, doing all his Venom thing, right? And she's throwing stuff at him and you're like, I wonder what's special about her. Like you mentioned, surprise, she's like a Terminator human hybrid, something happens. But then Sarah Connor comes out of nowhere and I wasn't expecting her to be the original actress. Mm-hmm. I thought maybe it was set, like you mentioned, right after the second one, right? So they're going to recast, they're going to find somebody younger, but it's still going to be the same. No, old ass lady there, kicking ass, being awesome, and it's just girls saving the world.
I'm excited to see where the story kind of continues because they had finished everything in Terminator 2. They had pretty much closed all the gaps. The Terminator that was Arnold was the final one that needed to be destroyed, and so he dips himself into that pit. And that is essentially it. What Terminator 3 said is that at that point, all of those events were irrelevant because it was already too late and the end of the world was already going to happen. I don't know if that's going to be a similar explanation to this particular one, or if there are going to be another set of Terminators that go back to try to change the events of Terminator 2 and maybe keep Arnold from killing himself in that second movie.
Maybe. I mean, obviously Arnold's back, right? So we're going to get to see how that unfolded, how he's back, how he's not melted anymore. But do you know what gap they left open? Because I figured it out.
Which one?
Money. There's money to be made. So
is there though?
Are we going to go see it?
We're going to go see it.
Okay, then.
How many other people are going to go see
there's
it?
There's $16 right there that they've made. I feel like with this trailer though, because they did it really well because it got me hyped, right? And I wasn't, like I've mentioned many times now, I wasn't about this movie when I heard about it. I was, whatever. But I'm so hyped and I'm so ready to go see it and I'm so ready to tell people to go see it.
Terminator Dark Fate is set to release on November 1st, 2019.
Our Butts will be their opening day. Something else that was supposed to release 2019, but because Terminator was coming out, they're like, oh, nope, gotta push back to next year. That's what I'm going with.
I hope, yeah, that'd be a better fucking explanation.
The Sonic the Hedgehog live action movie just pushed itself back. It couldn't compete with Terminator.
And the next news story on here. No, I wish we could skip that, and I wish that were the fucking reason, but instead, director Jeff Fowler announced that the Sonic the Hedgehog movie got pushed back 4 months to Valentine's Day on February 14th, 2020, due to the fucking bitching and whining that these quote-unquote fans were having this fucking hissy fit, these fucking B-chants, over the design that they went with originally for this movie.
So now how many of them are mad that it's pushed back and they're not going to get it this year?
they're all patting themselves on the back
Oh
as
my
if
God.
they changed the world. They really accomplished something with this. How many of them are going to fucking see it, though?
They
How
were
many of
gonna
them
see it
get, oh, good.
regardless. Oh, the people who, yeah, there's
not
gonna
gonna
be a
go
lot of
fucking see
people,
it.
right, who complained, who are like, nah, I'm not gonna see it anyway.
Well, I think here's where the key is, too, because Purple Swordfish lined it out really well. He's a friend of the show, a host on the Dead Channel Duo, and he said that all of these people that were complaining about the Sonic look in that first trailer had better be there on day one now because they changed all of this just for you. But I'm the fucking pessimist that says, no, they're going to go, oh, well, that's great. I wasn't going to see it anyway, but that's good that they fucking changed it.
That's good that they listened. It's nice that they listened to us.
So fucking ridiculous. I had someone on Facebook that I was arguing with who said, oh, well, maybe now they can have the design that the artists originally wanted. And I said, no, that was the fucking design that
Right.
they wanted. They were being creative by going with their fucking design. Instead, they're going to revert to something more safe and classic and closer to what we've already seen, which is not their artistic interpretation. You're instead taking that away from them. So this is, if anything, anti-art compared to you thinking that somehow someone mandated that they make him look like that and tell the VFX people. What are you fucking talking about? That was what they wanted to go with, including the director. And unfortunately, even by the tones that you see in the tweets, he's like, all right, well, clearly you guys don't like the vision that we had set in place. So here we go. Let's spend a couple more million and try to appease all of you and hope that the extra seats that are going to be there, the extra sales, justify the fucking delay and the extra costs now.
The thing that sucks too is they're going to do all this work, right? And people still aren't going to be happy. You're still going to have people who are saying, oh, well, they took all this time and they still didn't get it right. And that's what you're going to see next.
I still say hashtag release the Fowler cut. I want to see both versions get released. I want to see the one they intended and then whatever safe ass fucking thing they end up going with instead. Doesn't affect us. We were still going to see it regardless. It's just a damn fucking shame that they caved in to the fucking whining.
But now it gets to be our Valentine's date next year.
That's what Treasure Hunting Sonic said. He was like, so, yeah, change of plans for Valentine's Day. And he tweeted that to his wife. Pretty amazing. You get a huge Sonic fan, right?
Yeah.
Biggest one there is.
You have to.
So via Twitter, director Jeff Fowler did say, quote, taking a little more time to make Sonic just right. Hashtag no VFX artists were harmed in the making of this movie, end quote.
Except their peace of mind was harmed.
The artistic integrity,
Yeah.
that was harmed. A lot of things were harmed.
My heart was harmed.
Better be number one at the box office for several weeks. That's all I have to say about that.
What else is releasing? Maybe it will be.
It does release the same day as an unannounced live-action Disney film. So that's already in that slot.
Unannounced. I'm going with Little Mermaid.
It's possible. Could be Little Mermaid. Doesn't matter. I'm not seeing it. Whatever the fuck it is.
I heard Aladdin was good.
I heard mixed things and I didn't care. Because I have no interest and it doesn't matter what people say. Because unless I fucking trust them. Unless my views, my past... If our films align as far as favorites, then yeah, I'll listen to you. But otherwise, until I fucking see it, I won't really know. And I have no interest in Aladdin. I didn't like the cartoon growing up. It wasn't one we owned, and it's not one I watched.
I liked Aladdin.
Well, you can go see live action Aladdin then. Have
All
fun.
right, you're going to watch our kid? I'll go see Aladdin?
Yeah, you can go see Aladdin. I'd rather watch our kid than see Aladdin.
Perfect. He's funnier than Aladdin anyway.
Probably.
Something we will both be seeing though, and again, this was a great week for trailers because this wasn't what I expected either. But moving on over into the small screen, we got the trailer for Picard.
Why did you leave Starfleet, Admiral?
Hanelle Culpepper, who directed A Single Rose and episodes of The Flash, will be directing the first 2 episodes, which is a first. First woman to direct a debut of a Star Trek show.
We also heard that Jonathan Frakes, who played Riker in the original Star Trek Next Gen, will work on the show in some capacity. I'm hoping that he's going to show up and reprise his role as Riker, but he's probably going to be directing some of the episodes.
Yeah, he's directed a couple of the Star Trek movies, and that seems to be the direction he's gone in his career.
Direction. I saw what you did there.
So it'll be good to see him back in some capacity, and I'm sure, Riker will at least show up in one episode.
He's got to with his, tubby syrup self. What's Riker doing nowadays?
I think he's directing stuff.
Yeah?
He's directing a couple of projects.
Is he still real tubby? Does he enjoy those pancakes?
He does, and he's earned them. He was in Next Gen. He was great. According to showrunner Alex Kurtzman, who also did Star Trek Discovery, he said, quote, "It's an extremely different rhythm than Discovery. Discovery is a bullet. Picard is a very contemplative show. It will find a balance between the speed of Discovery and the nature of what Next Gen was, but I believe it will have its own rhythm," end quote. I know that's something that people were concerned with. I know John Suntress, who is a huge Star Trek fan. I listen to Word Balloon all the time, and he trashes Discovery constantly, but he watches every single episode because he's a massive Star Trek fan. He says all the time that if it were something like gardening with Klingons, he would watch it regardless because it's fucking Star Trek.
I feel like gardening with Klingons would be pretty amazing.
But I know his biggest issue with Discovery has been that they keep insisting that it does take place in the continuity of Star Trek, Next Gen, and all of those shows, but there are several things in the episodes that don't align with many things that have happened in those previous shows. So he was a little worried that it's the same showrunners. I still haven't seen Discovery. I know Swordfish says that it's really good, and he's a huge Next Gen fan. But it's good to know that at least he is saying that Picard is going to take its time and be more contemplative, which is truly what not just the Next Generation was, but what classic Star Trek is.
Definitely, and I feel like you can get that from the trailer too, because it's a lot of very artistic shots, right? Of Picard, it seems that now he's working in a vineyard. He's making his own wine.
The family vineyard, from Next Gen.
Yeah, so good for him, but that's what he's doing now. So you see a lot of really interesting shots of the grapes and the bottles and the fields, and, some symbolism in there where the grapes look like crosses and they're asking, oh, did you lose faith in us? Things like that. So it seems almost like they're interviewing him, trying to get him to come back to Starfleet.
Right.
Maybe that's because they didn't have enough money to pay him to be in the full trailer. I don't know.
They are definitely setting this up as a self-discovery type of thing. And I know Sir Patrick Stewart was saying that this is going to be kind of like a wrap-up to the story of Picard to kind of give you closure to the character. And I think he signed on for 2 or 3 seasons, and I'm sure that'll be the max of this show. But something did happen on a mission that completely got him off of, trekking space. So it'll be interesting to see what broke him or what got him away from those adventures. And instead he's living this life of what he clearly did not want to do, as we saw in Next Generation. When he visited that old vineyard, he visited his brother, and he went a different path than the rest of his family.
I was so ready in that trailer to see a shot of shoes by the front door.
The inner lights.
Yes, where
he
just left out his shoes. There's so much capacity, though, to make, like you said, a very contemplative show, right? But something that really tugs on our emotions and takes us through this journey with Picard, because so many of the episodes in Next Gen, you just mentioned Inner Light, right? Were like that, where there was so much packed into these episodes, and then you're just left crying by the end of it, but you just share that emotion with them. And once again, right, reading about this, I wasn't expecting Sir Patrick Stewart. I don't know where I've been thinking that he wasn't going to be on this, and then his face popped up at the end, and I was like, oh, he's still as handsome as he's always been.
Will he seduce anyone in Picard?
Everyone. He doesn't even have to seduce. The ladies just throw themselves to him at this point.
I hope he has that robe that goes all the way, like that very loose robe showing so much leg.
With his, super old man body now.
Yes. It is coming soon to an unspecified streaming service, although CBS All Access's YouTube channel did release the trailer, so that's some clue as to it coming out, at least in North America, to CBS All Access. I know there's rumors about it coming out on Amazon streaming service. Only time will tell where you will need to go to watch and stream Picard.
No matter where it is, are we on board?
Not if it's on Amazon. I will wait. Being, a manager of a local comic book shop, and Amazon being a business that aims to put out all businesses, I will not support Amazon in any capacity. However, when it does release on Blu-ray, I will buy that from a Target or a Best Buy that we normally shop at.
Now we're going to flip back over to the big screen, and I guess Keeping Up with Picard, is he in this movie also? Because he should be.
I wish, but no.
No.
They've since passed that baton down to the first class.
Oh, that's right. Okay, anyway, Dark Phoenix, the final core X-Men movie from 20th Century Fox, underwent significant reshoots to change the ending of the film due to similarities with an unnamed superhero movie.
Yeah, one that released recently. We're not sure how recent, but the quote here from Charles Xavier actor James McAvoy, quote, "The end of Dark Phoenix changed a hell of a lot. The finale had to change. There was a lot of overlap and parallels with another superhero movie that came out a while ago. And we had no idea that we were basically trawling through the source material, it seems," end quote. And he told us to Yahoo Movies UK.
Magneto actor Michael Fassbender jokingly said, quote, "They had spies on set." That's what I always say about every movie. "And they basically stole our ideas," end quote.
While the actors wouldn't specify which movie's ending was similar to Dark Phoenix's, people are speculating that it was Captain Marvel, due to both initially having many scenes based in space, as well as director Simon Kinberg changing Phoenix's character design to look less cosmic because of similarities to Miss Marvel's powered-up form.
Do you think that's the movie that it is? Do you think they're just copying the endings of movies all over the place?
Well, they're fucking copying Zack Snyder's original cut and original vision to the DC universe.
Yes.
So yeah, why not? Why wouldn't they copy off of the person to their left instead? Why just to Zack on the right? But they're going to look over and check the other person's homework as well. And then it's off to the races. Whichever movie can release first becomes the one with the original idea. That's how these things fucking work. And unfortunately, that ended up costing 20th Century Fox probably millions in reshoots so that they can rechange this ending so that people couldn't then say, hey, wait a minute, they just fucking ripped off Miss Marvel.
Beyond it costing them millions, right? You really see, like we saw it with Justice League, right? How much a movie changes when you go to change the ending. Because you go into it with this well put together story, for the most part, right? In most cases. But you go in with this story and this vision that you're trying to tell, and now at the very last second to say, well, we need to throw something together, and that's oftentimes how it feels. It could have cost them their Oscar.
It's possible, yeah. This is set to release on June 7th, so about 1 week after Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I thought there was maybe too much overlap between the two, but I think the audiences are different enough that it won't even affect it. When I was asking my subscribers all day today, hey, do you have your tickets to Godzilla yet? 90% of them said, no, I just have no interest. But if I were to ask them the same about X-Men or any superhero movie, they'd be like, yeah, I've got my tickets. Noticeably, though, it ended up being 30 people about our age that were like, no, I have no interest. But then I asked someone in their 50s. Every sub in their 50s were like, yeah, I got it. I grew up in the 70s and they played the kaiju movies and TV. And it's like interesting. I thought that was I thought everyone else my age also grew up with the kaiju movies.
I definitely did. And
Hell
I
yeah.
mean, that was probably because my little brother was obsessed with dinosaurs, but really, it probably is before our time. But all those people who said, no, you should have taken like that Godzilla piggy bank and just right in the head. Just throw it at him.
Just assault them.
Yeah. Get out of my store.
How worried are you about the changes in Dark Phoenix now that it's not the intended ending to the film or even the intended look to Phoenix?
I feel like the last X-Men movie we saw I didn't really like, so I wasn't super excited. I'm not super excited for this movie. However, it is disheartening that they did have to change it because I haven't seen it, right? Haven't seen it, haven't researched it, don't know what happened. So this could all just be me talking out of my ass. But potentially, the changes that they've made have lessened the movie, so I may not like it. Audiences may not like it as much as they could have because now, again, going back to that point, their vision has now been changed.
It could also be that these changes end up making a better ending overall, but it's just a matter of we don't know.
Right.
Reshoots don't necessarily equal a bad thing, and that's something that I think everyone needs to get through their heads whenever news comes through of, oh, they had to do every movie has to do reshoots. Every single, except for the Joker film, because Joaquin Phoenix cannot get back down to that weight. So it's all right, whatever they shot, that's it.
That's it.
Which is really interesting, and it's safe too. I mean, it's dangerous, but it's also safe because the movie was so low budget anyway that it's like, yeah, fuck it, who cares? Let's make an indie artistic movie.
So many millions.
It really is the indie approach, because how many independent movies are like, all right, everyone, let's go back and do some reshoots? No, it's mainly for bigger budget blockbuster films. So I'm excited for Dark Phoenix. It is the final one, as we mentioned, from the core X-Men series by 20th Century Fox, so it's kind of bittersweet. It is set to release once again on June 7th, and yes, we are going to go see it on that opening weekend, and we will have a review for you right here on the podcast.
This has been an amazing year of movies that we are so excited for that we will be seeing on opening weekend, and something else that we don't have a date for yet, hopefully soon, but we will also be there on opening weekend, is the Spawn film. And we finally got an update from Todd McFarlane at comicbook.com on the state of the live-action movie.
Todd said, quote, "The money's sitting on the sidelines ready to go. I just need to get everyone that wants to put in money to shake their heads to the same script. As you can imagine, everyone has a slightly different version of it in their head. You just go and try to appease a handful of people while not giving in to what it is that I'm trying to do myself. Because if I have to change it too much, I'll just walk away from it all," end quote.
I love that. I'll walk away. I'll
what
do
a diva.
it. I'll leave right now.
I love it. It's like buying a car.
Yeah, pretty much. I want it for this price. I'll walk away.
I don't
then
need
they
it
call
today.
you tomorrow.
I don't need to go to work.
I will say, he did one of my pet peeves.
Did he now?
He did.
Oh, I know what
He
you're
did it
talking
right
about.
in there, and it pisses me off, and I hate when he said he needed everyone to shake their head to sign off. You shake your head no. You
That's
nod
true.
yes. You shake your head no. So I hate when people refer to nodding as shaking your head. Ooh, now I'm fired up. You know what I also hate? When people say 5 a.m. in the morning. That's what AM stands for.
That's true. You're right.
Those are my two biggest pet peeves. Now you guys know. Sorry.
I hate when people say, I could care less. I could care less what that is. Oh, so you could care less.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less, everyone. I couldn't. I could not care less. Yeah, I mean, this is a tough position that Todd is in because there are so many cooks in the kitchen in a way with a lot of these investors. They each want to make sure that they're going to not only make their money back, but make a nice profit off of this live action Spawn film. And each of them have an idea of what it takes for this movie to make them money, which might be more action scenes, or make sure you have romance, or make sure it's a comedy, or make sure this or that. So Todd in the middle of it all has to go, all right, we'll do this. No, we can't do that. And have everyone agree to the fucking script. And I am glad that he's hopefully not just going to make Frankenstein this movie together to be different tones of everything. Because unfortunately, that's the way movies go. The script never ends up being exactly what gets shot. They end up changing so much between the direction and the rewrites and the co-writers and everything. By the time the movie comes out, it's almost like an entirely different film than what you saw from the script. If you ever see a first draft screenplay for a movie that went out to theaters, you can see it's like day and night. It's pretty amazing. So to see him try to be in that process and do this as someone who's not experienced at all in this kind of filmmaking, but instead in the world of comic books, is kind of interesting to see.
It is pretty cool. I do like that it seems that he's taking the stance of, I don't need this. I don't need you guys. Like, this is my vision, right? We're going to stay as close to it as we can. And if we can't reach a conclusion, then I'm gone. And that's really, I mean, I guess he doesn't need the money. I don't know. But that's really the way that you have to do this for him to see what he wants. Because at the end of the day, he created the character, right? Obviously. He wants to see his character on the big screen, and he's holding himself to that, which is fantastic. I think it's a great stance to have.
Because of this, Spawn has no official release date, but Jamie Foxx is set as the lead in the film. You and I still have to watch Collateral, starring Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. It is amazing.
Yes. I didn't even know that was a movie. Now I know. Let's watch it. Put it on the list of all the other movies we have to watch.
I believe it's been years since I've seen it. I really liked it, but Jamie Foxx is a taxi driver or a limo driver, and he ends up picking up Tom Cruise, who's a hitman, and drives him off to the next hit or the next mission, not knowing who he is or whatever. But then, of course, he gets wrapped up in all of it.
Of course.
The movie continues. It is really fucking good. But there's a ton of Spawn news this week, actually, because on the next bit, on the heels of Spawn hitting its 300th issue, Marvel Comics will be re-releasing Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man number 300 as a polybag 3D issue, which is, of course, the first full appearance of Venom. And he based Spawn's look loosely off of his other creation on the Marvel side, which was Venom.
Loosely.
Pretty close, right? They're pretty much identical.
Yes.
Venom with his big red cape. No, I know what you're saying, though. The giant white eyes, they're both muscular. They've got the kind of white and black patterning on them. Yeah, it's clearly a McFarlane design, and he went, you know what? I'll make my own fucking Venom over here. And he's from hell.
Such a 15-year-old boy. But Spawn 300 will have a cover also by Todd McFarlane referencing his Spider-Man number 300 cover. So that's kind of a cool nod that he's throwing in there.
Is it kind of smart for Marvel Comics to go, oh, 300's happening over there? Well, we got our 300 too. Remember that first one that we did, that Todd also did? Yeah, buy this one too. Might as well. They're charging $7.99 for this fucking shit. It releases on August.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. They're trying to pull pennies. They're searching the couch cushions for pennies right now. Like, however they can get money from people, they are taking it.
I know I can absolutely sell many copies of this polybagged $8 comic book, 100%. I'm going to order up on this. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it to people that buy Spawn 300 as well. Hey, get that cover. That's the exact same homage to this original cover, which is in 3D.
Can you sell them 100% or 300%?
I should order 300%. That's a lot of fucking copies, though. Holy shit. Because I know I'm ordering a lot of Spawn 300s. Mm-hmm. It would be a risk if I ordered 300% of that in fucking 3D.
No, I was being funny.
I do that. The owner's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Don't
I'm
really.
like, but look,
Kelly told me to.
It's kind of funny. We lost money on this. I'm like, yeah, but think of the joke. It's kind of clever.
You and I would be the only ones laughing. We would be the only ones that would get it.
Over to the streaming service side of things, several comics and animated movies are going to be added and removed from the DC Universe streaming service over the next couple of months.
So is this our what's new on DC Universe? June? July and August?
They need a fucking...
So, of course, first on the list, a Swamp Thing will be making its debut May 31st. Almost here. Leaf Abs.
Essentially, by the time this episode releases, many people will be watching Swamp Thing.
Leaf Abs.
Leaf Abs. Also, Young Justice Outsiders Season 1B, so the next half of Season 1, on July 2nd.
We're getting a whole lot on July 2nd. We're also getting Watchmen Under the Hood mockumentary, Supergirl, Green Lantern, Emerald Knights, Batman Year One, Justice League vs. Teen Titans, Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, and Justice League Doom. Which of those are you most excited for?
I own Watchmen. I own Green Lantern, Emerald Knight. Yeah, I mean, I own Justice League Doom. Those are like my three favorites from this list.
Yeah, but now you can just watch them on the streaming service. You don't gotta find the Blu-ray. You don't gotta fight with Leo to put the Blu-ray in. You don't gotta have him pushing the button to pop it back out.
I'm excited for others to enjoy it. Like, those are the three that I would recommend out of all of these for everyone. Watchmen, of course, by Zack Snyder. It was deemed as the unfilmable comic book movie, and he fucking pulled it off. And it stands the test of time. It is such a great movie. Green Lantern Emerald Knights, which is the obviously Green Lantern version of Batman Gotham Knights, which was different stories in Gotham. Well, this is different stories in the Green Lantern Corps.
Space.
It was initially set as like the sort of prequel to the Green Lantern movie, or at least the companion to it, where you can watch that first before you see the movie. And it gave you and introduced you to many of these characters, including Sinestro before he became a member of the Sinestro Corps. And Justice League Doom is the animated adaptation to Justice League Tower of Babel, which is, of course, the infamous Batman has a contingency plan against the Justice League. Well, what happens when someone takes Batman's contingency plan against the Justice League and sets it in fucking motion? That's the fucking story. In the comic book, the main villain is Ra's al Ghul. They changed it in Justice League Doom, unfortunately, to Vandal Savage, but it is still very valiant effort at this adaptation.
Is that also the one where Superman's like, I'll just move the earth?
Yeah. And that's also the one with the Justice League is under attack. By who, sir? By me. It's like, oh shit, what the fuck does he mean? Remember that in the trailer?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Was so good. What is the Watchmen Under the Hood mockumentary? Has that been out before?
I'm sure it has been. I haven't seen it though, and I did not do any research as to what that was. There's very little of that ultimate cut of Watchmen that I've actually seen. I've only seen that theatrical version, and which I really enjoy. So I don't know, maybe I'll give that a watch too, just because it does connect to Watchmen.
Right.
There are titles leaving on June 1st, though, from DC Universe, and that is The Batman versus Dracula.
Good.
Did not watch it, don't care. Superman versus the Elite.
Good. Bye.
It was alright. Superman Batman Apocalypse. Yes.
Oh, that one was good.
Fucking Darkseid calling out Batman, and then Batman calling out Darkseid, and then Darkseid loving Batman and falling for him.
Omega T974 something.
Does that sound like I'm bluffing?
That was
And Superman Batman Public Enemies. It was okay. It was the first one from that line.
Yeah, I felt like I watched it and I was like, meh, because I don't really remember it. We also have removals on July 1st. All-Star Superman. That's one of your favorites too, isn't it?
I love that. It's one of those moments in which the movie is better than the book. And I really recommend, if you have DC Universe, make it a priority to watch All-Star Superman.
We also have 1989's Batman, Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, Batman Returns, Batman Bad Blood, Superman 3, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, Superman Unbound, and the animated Wonder Woman.
So keep that in mind as you enjoy DC Universe. Over to the comic book side of things this week. DC Comics has confirmed that Tom King's departure from the core Batman title will actually continue in a 12-issue maxi series titled Batman Catwoman with art by Clay Mann. I remember this fucking news broke the day it released on Patreon, last week's episode, and I was like, of course, God fucking damn it.
Of course.
It's one of the tricky things about these news stories that break the day we record or the day before, because it's like, all right, let's see if this is fucking relevant. And I had tweets like, hey, Daniel, by the way, this actually, no, he didn't get it. And I was like, all right, yeah, I know.
It takes us days, guys.
We'll address that next week.
But we do have a quote here from DC's editor-in-chief, Bob Harris, who said, quote, "We're making changes to our comic book publishing line to set DC up for continued success. City of Bane is an incredible story and an integral part of our overall Year of the Villain campaign, and a new Tom King and Clay Mann Bat-Cat series in 2020 fills the gap once Batman begins to ship monthly," end quote.
So there's two big things that stand out here. So let's address the very first one, which is the Batman Catwoman team-up book. Does that mean that this is the married couple working together? Do you get the marriage that you should have gotten in Batman 50? And do you care at all anymore?
I care. I care forever about Batman and Catwoman for the rest of my life. I still don't think they're going to get married. I think you're going to address the things, right, of why they didn't work out. I think they're going to reach some closure and some peace within that and work well together and still be in love. But ultimately, I don't think they're going to get married. Do I want them to get married? Yes. That is my dream in life.
Do you like that we're getting a team-up book? I know we've gotten issues before where it's basically a Batman Catwoman story.
Yes.
So this is all great.
Yes.
Good things.
Yes. All good things. 100%. Just Batman Catwoman forever.
The other thing, too, that was said here is that when Batman begins shipping monthly, now, there's a huge initiative that is going forth along with other changes to the DC Comics line that is coming out and really taking flight in 2020, some of which I told you privately a couple weeks back, but the books are going to start, many books are going to start shipping monthly. So once a month instead of twice a month, as they originally did with Rebirth. That was one of the objections we had with the comics, where they were $2.99, which was great. $2.99 an issue, twice monthly. So for an extra $2, you get an extra comic book every month, which was fine by us. But then when they raised the price to $3.99, yes, you got extra pages, but now it's like, okay, so this was the intended thing of now they can double that particular book and the pricing, but also the writers had to try to keep up with that schedule. Right. And then you had rotating artists each issue, which for a lot of readers, they were like, I don't know, I kind of like a consistent look to my comic books. Well, it looks like they're reverting to a once a month shipping schedule to probably their full line of comic books moving forward. Do you think that's a better model as opposed to what they did before and what Marvel does do with a couple of their titles still?
I'll give you my opinion as a consumer, and then of course you can chime in with the actual retail side of it, right? How it affects your store. But for all the things that you just mentioned, I think that it is a better model. It is a better way for them to go, because then you're not overworking your writers. You're not overworking your artists. They have the opportunity to really put their all into these books to give us the best product they possibly can, and not just say, oh, well, I have to get this done in these 2 weeks, right? Because I can't even imagine. My stick figures take me forever. I can't imagine trying to put out a quality work that you're satisfied with. And that's ultimately like such a big factor, right? Are they satisfied with the work they're putting out, or are they sitting there constantly thinking, these are all the things I could have done better in this issue, now I have to do another one, and they're still carrying that frustration with them, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. And we've seen many times where they've pushed back books, right, weeks or months or whatever, because they can't keep up with the schedule. So I think that this is better for us as consumers. Yes, I have to wait longer for these books, but if I'm getting a better product, then it's worth it.
Yeah, I think you hit it perfectly on the writing side of things, where this is easier for the writers and the artists. Mainly the writer, though, because they're the ones that do stay on for that double shipping schedule. The artists, as we mentioned before, they rotate them, so their schedule is more or less going to stay the same, except it'll be one artist on the book as opposed to two, which you're then cutting your risk of artists not getting their work done in time, which when they don't, to their credit, actually, aside from Batman Damned or, Heroes in Crisis occasionally or Doomsday Clock, that they will instead get a fill-in artist for these last pages. And you'll see that in comics too, where they'll say pages 1 through 16, this artist, and 17 through this is this artist, and these. So it's like they don't give a shit. They'll say, okay, you can't finish it, we'll get someone else. This book is coming out on time. With anything that's monthly, they will do that. But with something that's a larger event book, they will instead delay it. But hopefully this means that for the consumer and the writer, higher quality works for the ongoing comic books moving forward. And there are a lot of books that we still enjoy from DC, and I don't think we've noticed a dip in quality to a lot of the titles that we are enjoying. Like, we're loving Detective Comics, we're liking Batman, so I can't think of a lot of things that are like, well, actually, if they had a break, so that's fine, but overall it's going to be a good thing in the long run for everyone. On the retail side of things, yes, I actually do sell more and make more money from the double shipping schedule, and so does DC, Warner Brothers, and Marvel. So we are going to get that loss in revenue from a book going down from twice a month to once a month. That being said, I think this also means that they're going to increase their titles every month. So hopefully it'll be made up in that way through whatever extra books and characters and series that they come out with in 2020.
If you could pick any title for them to add, if they said, Daniel, make up your own book, what title would you add monthly?
Like as a superhero or team up or comic book or
whatever. You have free reign. They said, we need to add more. Daniel, at this comic shop, tell us, what do the people want?
Batman and Robin, written by Peter J. Tomasi.
Okay.
Give me that New 52, Batman and Robin, once again. Like, give me a continuation of Damian and Bruce working together. I understand that Damian's off with the Super Sons comic book or the Teen Titans, but we need that core Bruce and Damian Wayne story. So I want to see that, and I want it done by Peter J.
Good pick. I'm impressed.
What about you?
Batman and Catwoman.
Well, you're getting what you want.
I know. I'm so happy. All my dreams they've come true. But it would be Batman and Catwoman with Dustin Nguyen.
In case you missed it, Tom King's final issue on Batman is going to wrap up with number 85, and DC Comics has not announced the new team beginning with number 86. There are rumors that it's Brian Michael Bendis. We'll see if those rumors are true.
Brian Michael Bantam?
But Tom King describes his Batman Catwoman book as a, quote, ambitious, accessible, beautiful, thrilling, end quote, series that will conclude his years of stories.
I love all those words. They're so very descriptive and exciting. But for those of you who are enjoying the Catwoman series, no worries. DC has confirmed that the Catwoman ongoing will still continue in spite of this team-up series.
That's not all for Tom King, though, and some people are attributing the changes in the comic book world to Tom's very busy schedule now, because according to The Wrap, Mr. Miracle comic book writer Tom King will be co-writing the New Gods live-action film alongside director Ava DuVernay, who directed A Wrinkle in Time.
On Wednesday, May 29th, Ava tweeted a selfie with the caption, quote, "Hey Tom King, ready to write New Gods, buddy?" End quote.
No release date or plot details on New Gods have been given, although elements from Jack Kirby's creations were briefly used in 2017's Justice League film, and we would have seen way more of those elements, and hopefully we will see those in Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League.
I do have some concerns with this.
Me too.
You want to go first?
As far as I know, he doesn't write screenplays, right? I'm sure he can, but he's not a proven good film writer.
Yes, but that doesn't concern me because the thing is he's collaborating, right? So he's going to come up with ideas and then you're going to have someone who is talented and is skilled in that, able to take those ideas and translate them.
Hopefully.
Like, you remember when we took that screenwriting class and you and I collaborated, and I cannot write screenplays worth shit. But you and I collaborated and you got an A and I got a C, so.
It all worked out.
It all worked out. But my biggest concern is, are we burning out the guy? Like, seriously.
Well, no, because he's no longer doing Batman. So he has other DC projects that he's working on, but one of the reasons why he took some time off of Batman is to work on a TV project. So he will step back when he needs to.
All right, as long as he does, because I know that there has been, I don't know, I feel like his titles haven't been as strong for me recently as they have been in the past. And so I'm wondering if and even if he is taking a step back from these things, right, when it's time, he still knows that this is his future. So when you know eventually you're going to be writing New Gods, I don't care that he hasn't started. He's started. He's still thinking about these things while he has these other commitments. So it might explain a lot of why his books have gone in the direction that they have, because, and I think that he's very talented and I enjoy his work, but it feels like he's taking on so much.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that his success on Mr. Miracle is what really got him this gig for New Gods. And the one thing that I'm like, there's a little bit of disconnect for me, because I understand that he took the Mr. Miracle character in that world and made it an Eisner Award-winning project, or at least Eisner nominated. I think it did ended up winning, but for that is very different to, all right, let's make a film in which they earnestly take these characters in this world and make a story around it. In his comic book, it's a cerebral take on all of these things. You have Darkseid enjoying carrots on a platter. That's not something I want to see on the big screen. And unfortunately, this also means that we're not going to get, if we see Darkseid, Zack Snyder's version of Darkseid that he was setting up in Justice League. And because of this film's existence and creation and upcoming project, it makes me a little wary, and it discourages me a bit on us seeing Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, because do they want to muddle up that version of his Darkseid versus what they're going to do in this film?
The direction that I would take the film, obviously I'm not the writer or anybody involved with it, right? But I think for this particular film, I don't know that I would include Darkseid in it. I think it would be more impactful if he wasn't, because you're going to build this world and show show how shitty he makes it, right? It's due to his influence that this world sucks and this environment sucks and their upgrading sucks. And it's going to be more impactful if you don't ever see him. If he's just, it makes him more godlike if you don't ever see him. So if that's the direction that they're going, yes, still really, I'm just trying to get them to release the Snyder Cut. That's why I'm saying all these things. But, to your other point of how this has to be very different from the Mr. Miracle comic book, yes, I do agree with that. But at the same time, again, having Tom King on, I felt that he brought so much heart to these characters and made them seem both godlike and mortal in the same frame, I guess. I can't think of the right word, sorry. But just made them very relatable, even though they do all these amazing things. So I think having him on, he's still going to bring that same heart to these characters, even though he may not be able to dive in as deeply as he did in the comic book.
Yeah, he has to have some kind of deep understanding for the new gods in the fourth world to be able to do something like Mr. Miracle and pull it off in the way that he did. And maybe that's why they did end up tapping him for this project, for his wealth of knowledge on these characters on this world. So that could be it. And the other thing too is that if they really have this initiative of each of these movies now are going to be standalone, they don't have to connect or don't have to build up into a bigger story, then Warner Brothers, if you really don't care about these movies connecting, then it doesn't matter if you do release the Snyder Cut, because it shouldn't affect what you end up doing with the new gods.
Now let me ask you, because obviously we're very passionate about the Snyder Cut and the dark side that he would have had. But what if in New Gods they cast Joaquin Phoenix as Darkseid?
Joaquin or Tom Hardy. Great. They can be anyone. And I'm like, I'm in.
What if Schwarzenegger is
awesome? Great casting. I'm going to love it.
Welcome to Apocalypse. What if it's Tommy Wiseau?
That's fine. I do want Ray Porter. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it'd be great if they kind of brought him back as Darkseid. Right. That'd be kind of neat, just so we can see what his full range would have been like as Darkseid. So who knows? Overall, it's a great move for Tom King, at least. It's definitely an exciting time to be Tom.
Before we wrap up our news completely for this week, though, we will touch on what's new on Netflix June 2019 highlights.
So this is not the full list for June 2019. These are the highlights that pertain to things that Papa Kelly and I have seen or want to watch. So the first one on this list is Batman Begins. So fucking good. It is my favorite live action Batman movie. So I'm excited that it's going to hit Netflix because we can play it in the store again. He's flying on rooftops.
It's my favorite line. It's my favorite line for the movie. If you haven't seen it, which you all should have, shame on you if you haven't. But in June, you'll be able to watch it on Netflix.
Mr. Raz Al Ghul.
What? We also have on the list Gran Torino. It's been years since we've seen this movie, but again, amazing movie.
The Dead Channel Duo podcast, friends of the show, they are actually reviewing that on their next podcast, which should release on the same day as this one. So if you want to hear their Gran Torino review for DCD Film Club, definitely check it out on their channel and on their feed. But also, Magic Mike is going to be hitting Netflix, which the saving grace to this is fucking
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey lifting the entire talent up and giving an earnest performance in this fucking thing. It's like, holy shit, he's really trying in this. And he's pulling it off.
He really was. And it was a terrible movie. I don't recommend it for anybody. But if you like Matthew McConaughey, yeah, watch him.
He plays a washed up stripper that no longer brings in the crowd, but he's more or less just the warm up or the host to the whole thing. But he tries so fucking hard in that role. It's like he's really playing it up, and I think the opening scene. He's the first thing that you see in the fucking movie. And it's like, God damn, this is fucking good.
And his ass is one of the last things you see in the movie.
I'm like, this movie might be amazing. And then the movie starts. It's like, oh, all right, well, there goes Matthew. He's no longer in this, I guess.
It was on Netflix before, so they took it down, and now they're bringing it back?
The contract's renewals, yeah. They come and go. One I added on this list particularly was Small Soldiers. Have you seen this?
Years ago, maybe, and only some of it. I don't really remember much of any of it.
I think it was like 98 or 99 when this released. But yeah, it is about these toys that come to life. And there's the military ones, and then there's the Gorgonites, which are kind of like, Avatar. So like the more earthy type of tribe, and they're at war, and you can make them fight, but they come to life, and it's all due to a malfunction in their chips. So you see the kids, like Kirsten Dunst is in it, but Phil Hartman, I think that might have been his last movie. And one of my favorite lines in the movie still is, they're called the Gorgonites, right? But when he's trying to negotiate with the small soldiers, the evil soldiers in the movie, he's like, I don't know what you guys have with these Gorgonzolas. And I don't know why, but that line gets me. His delivery is amazing.
Maybe we'll have to check it out. I remember now that you talk more about it, parts of it, but I was also like a young girl, and I was like, this is a boys movie. This is lame.
I can see that, though. Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
But Phil Hartman's good. You'll have to watch it for that.
All right.
Also, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. I believe it's the recent one.
Oh.
Which... Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just The Grinch. Which one were you referring to? The cartoon one?
The old cartoon one. Not the Jim Carrey one. Nobody wants to see that one.
Although that one's how the Grinch Stole Christmas, which is still on.
And not the recent one. I don't want to see that one.
I heard that one's pretty good.
Really? Maybe.
It's co-directed by Scott Mosier from Smodcast.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we can watch it. No, I have such a soft spot for all those old Dr. Seuss movies, because I used to watch that one, and then there was Horton Hears a Who, which I can't tell you how many times we used to go to the library, and I would always pick out that one and bring it home and watch it over and over and over. I loved Horton Hears a Who. So I just have a soft spot for those old Dr. Seuss. And I don't want to see these new ones.
One of those, huh? One of those people.
I'll watch it if it shows up, sure.
The sequel to Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph Breaks the Internet, is also hitting Netflix, probably as part of that Disney-Netflix deal. I know the final MCU movie that's going to hit Netflix is Ms. Marvel. So I'm curious to see what the final Disney animation film to hit Netflix is going to be. And I think it might be this, because I don't know what other Disney animated movie they had after Wreck-It Ralph.
I don't think there has been one. The next one you have coming out, and again it's Pixar, is Toy Story 4. But I don't think there's been one
Frozen
since...
2. Frozen 2 is this year. That's right.
Who wants to see that? No,
a lot of people. It's going to make so much fucking money.
We also have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This has been on our list for me to watch for a while.
Hell yeah. One of the fucking greatest Spider-Man movies of all time. Well done, Sony. I'm still wrestling in my mind. I know I said that it is the best Spider-Man flick, but I really like the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and the Green Goblin.
No.
Fuck yes.
Upside down kisses that almost drowned him.
But the Green Goblin and J. Jonah Jameson.
Maybe I need to watch these Tobey Maguire ones again. Maybe I have a skewed vision because of whatever one where he was just crying the whole time.
And Deathstroke's in it, as well as the bully.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's watch this again.
He's like 28 in high school. And finally on this list is Marvel's Jennifer Jones Season 3.
Do we still care?
I like Season 1 of Jennifer Jones. So I want to catch up on these. I honestly do, because I did like the first season.
All right.
With the Purple Man, anything he says, you have to do.
Cool.
So the way he murders people is like he'll tell them things like bang your head against the wall as hard as you can 1,000,000 times, and people will have to do it. And by the time like they're nothing,
right? All
kinds of shit like that. So it's a fucked up show. Like she takes it up the butt in the first season. It's like, yeah, those characters are never going to be in the MCU, guys. Never. But why weren't they in Endgame? Because it's PG-13, you idiots.
Now that we've talked about taking it up the butt, we will wrap up our news.
Let's head into our Patreon shout-outs for the week.
This week we have 5 shout-outs. The first one goes out to Alexander, whose Twitter handle is @SwordfishShow. You can also find him at purpleswordfish.com.
Alex has been streaming World of Warcraft on his YouTube channel. So if you're into WoW and you want to see a little break from Madden that he took. Definitely check out the World of Warcraft streams because he definitely has a lot of fun on those.
Next up, we have Lourdes and Katie.
Katie cosplayed as Vigilante, who is Deathstroke's ex-wife, for MegaCon this year. She fucking did a really good job, too. That costume is awesome.
That's amazing. Gotta love her and her love for Deathstroke.
She loves Deathstroke and all characters at all related to him.
Next up on our list, we have Bobby, whose Twitter handle is @CubanSlim.
Bobby actually helped me judge my latest Pokemon League Challenge tournament. My regular judge, unfortunately, wasn't available because he had to play at, or rather his daughter had to play at a League Cup. So he came out and came through for us in a huge way. Drove very far to help judge at our small league challenge. I call it small because relative to what he's done and what he does pretty much every week, it's small fries, right? But he thankfully came through and helped us with this league challenge, and the players had a really good time and wouldn't have been as smooth or successful if Bobby hadn't come out. So huge thanks to Bobby.
You should get me to judge the next one. I'm ready. Are you playing that's a Pikachu? Pikachu wins.
The end.
The end.
Turn in the slip.
Our next shout out goes out to Neil, whose Twitter handle is @inmats68.
His thoughts on Detective Pikachu via Instagram were, quote, "Wow, Detective Pikachu was really good, heartfelt, funny, and nostalgic. I didn't expect much, but was blown away. I also realized how many Pokemon I didn't recognize. Hashtag gotta catch it. Hashtag so good."
Neil, how you not recognizing Pokemon?
He's gotta get up on his Pokemon lore. Gotta study up on them Pokemon.
You got to. I don't even like all the Pokemon. I know them all.
As long as he recognized Bulbasaur, though, all is forgiven.
And Pikachu.
And Pikachu for Palpa Kelly. As a side note.
And our final shout out this week goes out to John, whose Twitter handle is @John72Tex and Instagram is @Johnny2Chips.
John shared his CGC graded 7.0 signed copy of Batman number 121, which is the first appearance of Mr. Freeze. There's actually quite a story to this CGC grading because his copy was accidentally signed by Neil Adams, who did not work on the book at all. But the handler unfortunately made a mistake and had Neil sign it, and they graded it signature series. To make up for it, though, the facilitator had Neil sketch an image of Mr. Freeze on the cover, free of charge. So it's kind of a unique book to own because obviously Neil did not work on it at all, but it's like just to tell that whole story of, yeah, they messed up, but I got a free sketch out of it.
Right. Neil was probably like, where's my $40 for this?
John?
Yeah.
No, Neil Adams? Yeah, I'm sure he still fucking got paid by the facilitator.
Yeah, the facilitator was like, be reasonable, Neil.
I messed up. Why 40? Just wait next year, next time you fucking mess up, and it's going to be 140.
But here's the thing. Why'd Neil sign it anyway?
Because he got paid to fucking sign it. He doesn't give a fuck. If you pay him money, Neil does not give a shit. He will give you a giant smile.
He will do anything for money.
For that fucking money. But it's got to be his rate.
Yep. Which will go up by $10 next year.
Every year it's going to go up. If you too would like your shout out, head on over to patreon.com/thereasonsimBroke. You too can get your shout out, and huge thanks again this week to John, Neil, Bobby, Lourdes and Katie, and Alexander.
And if you guys say, you know what? I want to be a part of the show, but I can't commit to $1 a month to be a Patreon backer, you can leave us a voicemail, and then you can actually be heard on our show. We have a link in the description, or you can go to speakpipe.com/thereasonsimBroke.
Let's head into the future of comics releasing with our previews catalog highlights from the June 2019 catalog.
For those of you unfamiliar with the previews catalog, it is like the Toys R Us Christmas catalog from our youth, but with comic things.
Hell yeah, comics, t-shirts, Funko Pops,
video games, and
model
more.
kits. A lot of stuff based on video games too. So if you're like, what the fuck? No Overwatch stuff? No, there's Overwatch shit. There's Final Fantasy, there's Kingdom of Hearts, everything. Kirby, Legend of Zelda, Mario, all that shit. All that bullshit.
This comes out every single month. You can pick it up at your local comic shop. It's, what does it retail for?
$3.99.
$3.99. Totally worth the price. They lose money on this catalog, but pick one up, flip through it. It gives you great insight on things that are coming out, things that your comic shop may not order, right? But you see it in there, you ask them to order, they'll make sure that you have one when it comes in.
So we're going to go back and forth on this, and we'll give the pages where you can find each of these items. So if you have the previous catalog in front of you, you can check it out. If you don't get the catalog, you can take any of these items that might sound interesting to you, like a new series or a model kit or toy, most likely from Papa Kelly's side, and you can have your comic book shop order it in for you. So I mainly have DC items on mine because the DC catalog is the one that I most pay attention to. And the new series from DC Comics is on page 2 of the DC catalog. It is Batman Superman, which we covered before. It better be Superman Loves Batman. Otherwise, it's not a true...
All over the place, it'll be Superman Loves Batman.
Exactly. And it spins off of the Batman Who Laughs miniseries that got extended to 9 issues to make room for this new series. So we ended up subbing to it, and we'll give it a couple of issues, and hopefully it's strong enough to stay on.
My first thing that I have here comes from page 10. So if you flip the book to the other side, the back side.
The merch side,
the merch side, which is just the best part, right? It's so
It's
cool.
like the frosting.
But on page 10, you have some pretty cool Kingdom Hearts figures. So if you still care about that game... They have all the different characters. You got Sora. You got Pirates of the Caribbean Sora was on there.
That's pretty cool.
I thought it was Pilgrim Sora at first, and I'm like, this is cool. And then it's a Pirates, and I was like, all right, whatever. But you have him. Kyrie's there. You got Mickey in his dark cloak. All the characters there. If you're looking for something cool to add to your collection, page 10.
On page 5 of the DC catalog is Batgirl number 38's variant, which is by Joshua Middleton. I believe it might be Derek Chu, but the Batgirl variants have been amazing, and Josh Middleton has been mainly known for making those, and it's no exception this month. The Batgirl variant is fucking on point.
My next highlight, and it's not even anything that I'm interested in, but I thought this was so cool. On page 13, they have a Luke Skywalker electronic helmet. Did you see that? It looked like it was a full-size helmet that you put on and you can hit buttons and it'll talk to you just like your Luke Skywalker in that whatever number movie where you destroyed the Death Star.
So it's the X-Wing helmet?
Yes. That
you
thing.
Use the Force one?
Yes, yeah. It was so cool, and he puts it on and you hit buttons and it makes noises.
That's actually, what page was it again?
13.
13. I'm going to have to check that out.
You're
I might
have to
order
look
it for
at
the
it.
store, yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Catwoman number 14 on page 5 of the DC catalog is actually the animated series version variant by Artgerm, because he's gone through and tried to do the different types of Catwomen that they've done throughout the years, and he even took to Twitter to say, hey, for my last cover, which version of Catwoman do you want? My vote was do a compilation of all of them, like a little collage, but I think he ended up going with the possibly Darwin Cook one. I'll have to look and see what his final cover is, and we'll know in the next catalog. But for this latest one, you gotta do the animated series.
Of course.
He did the Supergirl one based on Superman the animated series, so yeah, you've got to do the Batman animated series Catwoman if you're gonna do that as well.
Is it season 4 or is it season 1 through 3?
1 through 3. Yes, it's the gray suit.
Yes.
So fucking cool. It
That's
turned out
amazing.
great.
Next on my list, page 27, there is a Nightwing statue that pretty much just shows off his butt.
So a Nightwing statue,
Like
a proper Nightwing
his
statue.
pose is 100% just so you look. And they even took, like, you know, they have the front picture, right? But then there's a back picture too. And you normally don't get two, but they had to show his booty, so.
Yeah, I mean, how else are you going to know if you need to buy this Nightwing
right?
statue?
Right.
As we covered last week, Batman vs. Ra's al Ghul on page 6 of the DC catalog. You can now sub to it. So this is the one written and drawn by Neil Adams. It is a miniseries.
On page 40, I didn't know that this was a series. It's a life-size hand series. Have you seen those?
Hand series?
Hand.
No.
So it's a statue. It's Harley Quinn's hand, you know, red glove and
yes.
all,
I know what you're
holding
talking
a
about
lollipop, but it's a light, like the size that her hand
the
would actually be.
sculpture of a hand, yeah.
Right. It was a really interesting concept. Not that I really need this or want this or think there's a big market for it, but I thought it was very interesting that they're doing that.
It's definitely interesting. I've gotten 0 pre-orders for any of those.
Nobody
So,
really wants them.
I don't know why they're continuing with them. So it's cool though. You're right. It is a cool idea. Batman number 232, which is the facsimile edition that we had also mentioned last week. But if you want to get the full solicitation of it, that is on page 7 of the DC Comics catalog. And I had someone DM me for more information on these facsimiles in case you were unfamiliar with how these work. But Marvel and now DC are releasing these essentially one-shot recreations, exact replicas of classic key issues that have released in the past. So Marvel did that with, for example, Spider-Man 300. They're doing that with Guardians of the Galaxy. They did that with Silver Surfer. The New Mutants 98 is getting a facsimile edition in a month or two. But all the old ads, all the original pages, it is an exact replicate of that original comic book, except for the barcode, except for the price on the cover. But it's a neat way to see what the original versions were, including the ads, to what originally came out. So if you kind of want to own that old comic, but don't really mind the collectability of it, but just want to have one of those copies, Incredible Hulk, the first appearance of Wolverine is one that got a new reprinting this week, which is, again, the first appearance of Wolverine. So it's a great addition, and this one being the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, I can't wait to see what else they release. And I'm going to mention this other one too because it's House of Secrets number 92, also a facsimile edition on page 16, which is the first appearance of Swamp Thing just in time for the TV show.
Leaf Abs. That's what they should have named it. Why'd they name it Swamp Thing? Name it Leaf Abs. Get more people watching it. Next on my list, on page 43, they have a Dragon Ball Z Dragon Ball plush. So I could have this cute little plush of I don't know why it's always the 4-star, because that's a lucky one. That's stupid. Whatever. The 4-star Dragon Ball, and when you squeeze it, supposedly it like vibrates or something.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
On page 46, again, DC catalog is Justice League number 14's variant. Justice League Dark number 14 features Man-Bat on the cover, so that's one that I added on to my pre-orders.
Moving on to page 47, they have Batman the Animated Series toys. They're bringing out even more, but these are bendable. Do we need bendable Batman the Animated Series toys?
Do we need, insert here, Batman the Animated Series anything? Yes.
Yes. Are you buying the bendable ones?
I have to go back to that page because I missed it. I'll have to go back. Is it a Harley Quinn?
Page 47, yes.
Oh.
There's a Harley and a Joker, and there's a Batman and a Nightwing, I think.
Season 1 through 3? No, well, the Nightwing has to be 4 then.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what the other one was. But yeah, their arms and legs are all bendable.
Final DC item for me is Wonder Woman issues 76 and 77's variants, which are both Jenny Friesen variants, on par with the other ones that we've gotten before. They all still look like Jennifer Connelly to me, and I think that might be her reference, but they're great looking covers, and she does an amazing job on them. So no exception, pre-ordered 76 and 77.
On page 53, something that I'm not interested in, but they have a Q-Fig of Squirrel Girl. Where's Squirrel Girl been?
She's going to be on a TV show. She's played by the
so
AT&T commercial girl.
Mm.
She was in those for several years, but now she's going to be Squirrel Girl in
That's
that
awesome.
TV series. If you want the solicitation to that Amazing Spider-Man 3D Venom number 1 issue, it is going to be in the Marvel catalog on page 56.
On page 57, but not the same 57 that you're on. Other
Merch
side of the book,
yeah.
the merch side of the book. We have Detective Pikachu toys.
I know.
So they were so cool. You got a bunch of little plushes, but then they also had those little 2 Pokemon figure packs. The first one has Pikachu and Bulbasaur in it, so I feel like we have to get it. We're obligated.
So I put that on my list as well, and today when I was putting in my pre-orders, I'm like, all right, and obviously I'll get the Pikachu and Bulbasaur set, but shops have to order the full set.
Ugh.
They can't just order the one that they want. So I said, well, I'm not getting it then, because I'm not going to buy all 4. I'm not going to buy a full fucking set of 6, I think is what the pieces were.
Right.
It's a shame. It sucks, and I hate that they solicit it that way, but I guess they figured if enough customers in your shop pre-order those figures, then maybe you can get away with ordering a display. Maybe that's what they're trying to go with, and I get that they don't want to be stuck with a bunch of figures that are never going to move. But yeah, it's unfortunately, we'll just have to try to get it in a different way. Something that I did add on the Marvel catalog for myself is Invisible Woman number 2, the main cover, which is done by Adam Hughes. If Adam Hughes stays on the main covers, I'll probably keep collecting these.
On page 65, for those of you who like Disney and collect pop vinyls, you have the pops for the live action movies, I mean, not even that, but the recent Disney movies. So they have Aladdin Pops from the live action. You have Toy Story 4 Pops, and then they also have Lion King, which I guess is live action, but still animated. Anyway, they got Pops for those too.
Yeah, we have those in stores now. I think those are like resolicitations of them. So they should be out at your local comic shop
Cool.
today. Yeah, at any time. You can get them. On my list is the sequel to My Hero Magademia. You remember that one with Trump as Almighty? It's called Walmite Part 2.
Perfect name.
It's on page 271. I remember the first printings evaporated, jacked up in price. I think it went up to like 3 printings.
Wow.
But if you don't want to miss out on first printings of Walmite Part 2, it's once again on page 271. It's just satire, everyone. Antarctic Press does them on both the left and the right.
Sticking with My Hero stuff, this is legit My Hero stuff. On page 67, I don't know if you saw this, they solicited My Hero figures. Like little keychains or something. Solicited them. They solicited these things 3 times in this book, right? And they were all concept art. So you don't even know what it's going to look like. But they had to throw it in there 3 times. And I was like, really, guys? Really?
I remember they pissed me off with the All Might PVCs because the first one they came out with is the pose of I am here, right? And I pre-ordered it, and I'm like, great, I'm getting one. We ordered them in. It's going to be in fucking half a year or whatever. A couple months later, they solicited an action pose of him, like, throwing back a punch. And I'm like, fucking, man.
Aww.
Of course, I would have waited. But, oh well. Like, now I'm obligated to get the first one because I'm not going to stick my own store with an extra copy of that.
Right.
And I ended up passing on the action pose because I'm like, well, I already got the other one. So it's just a shame when they fucking pull that kind of bullshit.
Bullshit.
I ended up getting subbing to Little Lulu, the hardcovers, because my mom is she grew up on that comic book, and that's something that her dad would bring home to her. I think it was coming home from work, but it's something she read for many years, and she collected those volumes many years ago when I first started subscribing to not only the store that I'm at now, or the company I'm at now, but to the store that I was at in Illinois. And I would buy those for her and bring them home. So now they're actually reprinting them again, but in hardcover and in full color. So volume 1 is in this previous catalog, and I sub to that whole series.
We finally get to the good stuff on page 70 and 71, which is all the Dragon Ball Z things.
Nice.
There's 2 pages of all the Dragon Ball. This is the first pages of all the Dragon Ball Z things. The highest on my list, right? They have little minifigures of blue-haired Vegeta and his little green guys, the Sabamen, was that their name or whatever?
Yeah, I think so.
And then there's a Yamcha too. So I was like, Yamcha,
is he
they
dead?
killed
Like,
you.
is he actually fucking? Oh my god, if he was in a dead pose.
But he was next to the Sabamen in the lineup. So I was like, I see what you guys did there. So it was pretty funny. But they had, a lot of the bigger statues there, a lot of stuff based off the Broly movie. So if you're interested, check it out. Pages 70 and 71.
I actually have one item left on my list of previews highlights. Yeah, is one for little Leo.
Aww.
It's Can You Save the Day? DC Superheroes. It is on page 302. So if you have little ones, turn to page 302 of the previews catalog, and it is one of the hardboard comics. It's in that same line of comic books. Yeah. Where you can have the DC superheroes and villains, and you're trying to save the day with them. So I pre-ordered that for little Leo man.
He's gonna love it. Aww.
There better be a page there, judgmental ass book of Green Lantern and his bald fucking head.
You mean John Jones?
I said Green Lantern. Yeah. Martian Manhunter's green bald fucking head.
That's such a cute comic. It's such a good, cute series. For those of you who aren't familiar, they're kids' books, right? So they're teaching you shapes and colors, and superheroes say as please, but they use actual art from older comic books. So it's really cute. He will love them someday. Right now, he's on the dog book. Yeah. And the 10 little animals in the bed, and they roll over and they all fall down. And I have to sing the whole fucking song like 4 times. Oh my God.
Yeah, it keeps telling you more and more.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I can't, kid. I'm not a singer. Is that really all that you have? You don't have any merch
No,
on your list?
not this
because
month.
I only got halfway through my page with
No,
all
that's
of that.
great.
So now you guys get to listen to all my merch things. And it's not all things that I want, just things I think is cool and that like people should get, right? So next up on my list, page 76. This is when we start going into the sexy ladies version of the book, right? Because I always have to make a comment about these. It's not just sexy ladies anymore. 76 is sexy men.
All right. That's interesting.
But I'm pretty sure they're all gay.
Are there Batman statues, though? Or is this just a Batman statue?
No, it's not. I do have a Batman statue listed on here. But no, it's men in like loincloths with really muscly thighs that are kind of awkward. But I guess people are into that. So
maybe they're testing it. Like, will these sell? And I'm like, no.
No, definitely not. But going back to sexy men, page 98 is a ninja Batman statue.
That's pretty fucking cool.
So he's got, there are like 2 or 3 different versions of him in some cool ninja clothes. So that was pretty awesome. Page 101, there was an Ozymandias statue.
Nice.
But it didn't compute that there are different Ozymandiases. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, that doesn't look like Ozzy because it's some dark-haired guy with his shirt all unbuttoned, like laying on some throne. And I had to read it and it's not from Watchmen.
Oh, it's a different Ozymandias.
Yeah, I was very confused because I was like, you guys got this wrong.
That's not Ozymandias.
Page 115, they have a Dragon Ball Z collector's lamp. Did you see this thing?
Yeah, I did.
The Dragon Ball. I kind of want it. I'm going to spend all my paycheck just on these Dragon Ball Z things.
I hope they don't fucking cancel it, though, because there was one of Goku doing the Spirit Bomb, and the Spirit Bomb was the fucking lamp. I had 4 pre-orders for that
and
bitch.
They canceled
and
it?
They canceled them. They fucking canceled them. And I was so pissed off because I'm like, I had the pre-orders and I had a couple ordered for the store too because I can set that fucking bitch up and I'd sell those all fucking
all day. I probably would have bought one.
So I'm like, that's why I didn't add that to the notes. I'm like, yeah, they'll fucking cancel this shit too.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I hope they don't cancel it.
I hope so too. You said it's the Dragon Ball, right?
Yeah, it's just the 4-star. I fucking hate the 4-star. I don't know why I hate it so much.
Because it gets so much attention now?
I guess, probably, because everything's the 4-star. Fuck the 4-star. Anyway, moving on. On page 116, for those of you who still care about The Legend of Korra, the last airbender, she's not the last. Anyway, they have Korra and Asami. It's a little pin where Asami is kissing her cheek because they have to push this relationship even more, even though they didn't build it up for all the seasons until the very end when they're like, oh, we're lesbians.
And
they ran away together. But anyway, that's there if anybody is interested. Here's the best part. Maybe I should skip it. I'll come back. Because I have a lot to say on these 2 pages. So we're going to skip ahead. Page 125, again, for anybody who cares. If you're a friend of the Friends, if you're a fan of the Friends TV show, they have 3D keychains of all the characters and the guy who runs the coffee shop. I never remember his name.
I never watched Friends.
It's some weird. I watched most of it. I watched until Joey and Jennifer Aniston, I forgot her name, Rachel. I watched until they got together and then I didn't care anymore. Like they went on vacation to the Bahamas and I stopped caring because Ross was always very bad for her and she ended up with him anyway.
At the very end?
Yeah. And I didn't, like, they were lobsters. He was a terrible boyfriend.
I'll take your word for it.
Anyway, if you care, you can get all those. They're pretty cool looking, just little keychains of all the characters. On page 435, they have t-shirts for Jack and Sally, but it looks like they're actual clothes.
Yeah, kind of like pseudo costumes.
Right. So you remember you had the Jack t-shirt forever ago?
Yeah.
Now it's kind of the same thing. So it looks pretty cool, right? If Nightmare Before Christmas is obviously still huge because there's still stuff everywhere, but definitely something to check into if you're still a fan of that franchise.
Not something I could wear in Florida, though, because I remember those, particularly when I wore that in Florida, it's like, damn, it's fucking hot.
If you wear clothes in Florida, it's
yeah,
hot.
That's true.
Like, was it today? Yesterday was the hottest it's been in like 5 years or something ridiculous. It's disgusting.
Customers keep telling me that because they'll come in and they're like, oh, it's hot as balls out there. And I'm like, is it? They're like, oh, right, you're in here. And it's like, yeah, like I get here early enough to the store when I open where I'm like, it's fine. It's warm. And then I get off of work and it's cooling off. So I'm like, it's fine. It's warm. I missed the hottest part of the day.
So like if I open, right, I'm walking out to my car at 2 o'clock, something like that. And that walk to my car, which isn't very far. I'm just like drenched in sweat, right? And then my car is parked out in the sun, so then it's 1,000,000 degrees in my car, and it takes 15 minutes for my car to get cool.
Yeah, it does take a while. That's one thing I will admit.
Forever. Yeah, it's just disgustingly hot outside.
Like, sunshades are a must, but they help only so much.
Only a little bit. Yeah. One funny meme that I saw once is like, in Florida, it's not about the closest parking space, it's about the parking space with shade.
No matter where it's
right.
at. Yeah.
That's what we all fight over. And that's what I've figured out, what parking space gets the shade at what time when I'm at work. So I'll park there knowing my car will be in partial shade.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, we need to get that thing, for those of you with young kids, I think it's called a Noogle. Something like that. But it's pretty much a big tube that you stick into your air vent in the front, and it goes all the way to the back, so that when your baby's in a car seat, because it never gets cool, right? The front of the car is cool in 15 minutes, but the back you could drive for an hour and it's still not cool, even on full blast.
Unless you have one of those fancy cars that has an air vent in the back.
Yeah, we're not that rich.
No.
Reasons we're broke is not because of cars with air vents. Anyway, my last piece. I'm sorry. This is the meat. Was worth the $3.99 for this whole book. So pages 118 to 119 has all the Vegeta things. Did you see all these things?
Are they the statues?
Did you? No. They're just things. You should have seen this and said, Kelli needs all of these, and just already ordered it. So the first step, they have a Vegeta mug. Okay, so you know how they had that mug forever where it gets hot and then Goku turns Super Saiyan?
Yes.
Well, now it's a Vegeta one.
Nice.
I've been waiting.
Super Saiyan, like regular?
Yeah, well, like, I don't know. He's like...
Like
I
the yellow
care.
version.
Yeah. No, I don't know if it was yellow version. I think he just powers up. Whatever. It's a Vegeta thing, and it comes with a little coaster.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Comes with the coaster.
It comes with a coaster. It's only $16.99.
That's
Worth
not bad.
Every penny. Gotta get it. Second... They have, for $24.99, again, well worth the price, a Dragon Radar. And it comes with a Dragon Ball. And it's so cool. You know what would make it cooler? Okay, here I am spitting out things. Somebody's going to take this idea. I would pay $50 for this, right? Okay, so you got a Dragon Radar, and it comes with all the Dragon Balls, little tiny like keychains, and then you could put it on your keys and then locate your keys. Oh my God, how genius am I?
Oh my God.
I would buy that so fast. $50.
Jesus.
How cool am I? Tell me that's not the best
idea. That's an amazing fucking idea.
How many people would buy that? Because I lose my keys. Like, if I could stick it to my phone so I could find my phone when I lose and walk around my house like beep, 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 beep. Anyway. Really cool. I want this too, because it would go with my Bulma costume also, and it would be really awesome. Next on my list, there is a 4-piece coaster set. So you have the Red Ribbon Army, you have a Capsule Corps, you have Goku's little symbol thing, whatever the hell that means, and then you have a Dragon Ball. Who cares about that one either?
Is it anyway, the 4-star?
It probably is the 4-star because it's all the fucking 4-star everywhere.
Same pages, right?
Yes. We're going to have to look it up. I have to show you all the things that you need to buy me. Next on the list is a little keychain, but it's a capsule from Capsule Corps.
That's awesome.
And I need it. It's $9.99. Again, worth the price, right? And I could just have it on my keychain next to my Kangaskhan and my Lego Batman. And then finally, they have a bunch of fig pins. Fig pins. Mm-hmm. Is that what they're called? Which I just discovered at MegaCon. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Scott's pre-ordered some of those before. Like, he's gotten the Almighty one, and there's Kingdom of Hearts ones.
They have really cool ones. Yeah, they're really cool. I didn't write down the price. I'm sorry. But they have a baby Vegeta. So this is all the ones from the Broly movie.
They're pricey.
Yeah.
They're pricey.
So all the ones from the Broly movie. You got, of course, Broly. But you have all the characters as kids because they show up in the Broly movie. So you got baby Vegeta, you got baby Goku. I think it was baby Raditz. I don't remember. Maybe it was baby Broly. It was somebody. But they were really cool.
Yeah, Broly.
And then I think there was a blue-haired Vegeta in there. Lots of cool stuff.
Baby blue-haired Vegeta, right?
No. Yes, of course. So that's it. That's all that I have. A lot of Dragon Ball Z things.
Yeah, those are great highlights. Yeah. So many good fucking items. I love the previous catalog. It's always a good week when the previews comes out. And when I get excited for it too, like customers also get excited, which is neat because it's like, fuck yeah, right? The fucking previews catalog. It's amazing. So that concludes like the reasons I'm broke portion, like the comics, movies, TV, video games part of the show. This is where we go into the final bit of the show, which is where Papa Kelly and I go into our more personal lives of the show. So if you stick around for that, thank you so much, Brokehead Core. Otherwise, everyone else, we will see you next week. But here is our Brokehead block for this week.
I think the biggest change, the biggest improvement this week is where we're sitting right now.
You may or may not notice the audio quality, and I'm hoping you do not, because we did several tests to make sure that it was up to what's normally on the podcast. We're now recording in a whole different room, whole different part of the house. And I know it's not I don't know if it's not a big thing for non-podcasters, but to us, we're sitting in chairs.
We are not on the floor in our closet.
We're not sitting Indian style. Is that still kosher in 2019?
No,
Can
it's
you say
not.
that?
It's crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce style. Like, we're sitting in chairs in a different room, but Kelly, you went all out. This was like I asked for this for the holidays, I think, for my birthday last year. I wanted my podcasting room, or my podcasting space, or, a podcasting area, something that was soundproof that we can actually sit down. And we're sitting at a desk. We have blankets that you put up that are soundproof. We have the Reasons I'm Broke logo on the wall as a giant tapestry, and we're going to take pictures of all of this and eventually put them up, but it's a work in progress. But this is like the beta version of this, because we're making refinements and improvements
Test and adjust.
Actual permanent fixtures to this if this all works out, which so far it has been. And we have like a whole screen which has the soundproof foam in it as well. And we have extras that are up on the window. So we went all out on trying to make this. Kelly went all out on trying to make this as enclosed as possible, which normally we got tons of echo in this room. It's the same room that we did the Kit Kat unboxing for, but it looks much different. And right now I'm in the process of eventually ordering some graphics for the blankets that you put up. Once the sale goes up on TeePublic, I will get some tapestries for those as well, with our different designs and t-shirts and logos, but put up in tapestries for that to theme it up and make it more presentable for eventual. Maybe I'll take pictures in here for some of the comics or whatever, product or unboxings that maybe we can use some of this stuff for. But if anything, it themes up our little space in the future. But yeah, it's really exciting. I'm really happy with the sound tests that we did, and happy that my back is not killing me now at this time of the podcast recording, which normally by the time it's all right, I've been hunched over for a while, so we're sitting in fucking chairs.
Well, thank you for your patience in waiting for this all to come about. And it's been a very long work in progress, and you've been very patient and understanding, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity this week to get the almost final portion, right? Like I said, test and adjust. We'll work on some things. We'll make it a little more easier to put together and accessible and all that. But hopefully it works out well for us, and we'll keep moving forward and making this a great space for you.
And something that ended up having an effect on us and your extended family and my extended family is the norovirus, which Leo was patient zero in this case. And he might have caught it from MegaCon. He might have caught it from Baby Jam. He might have caught it from who knows what. I'm going to blame MegaCon because there was a shit ton of people there. He caught the norovirus, and it took him the longest to recover, which, as Bobby pointed out, it takes longer for babies and kids to recover from these things, whereas adults can knock it out quicker. But he ended up getting really sick, as we mentioned, I think, last week. And it was obviously a very scary time for us because it's his first major illness that he's really had. So norovirus comes with everything you can think of, throw up and fucking diarrhea. And then shortly after, you ended up catching that. And then a day after we it was a day after we recorded last week. And maybe that's why I was a little bit down when I was recording. And I don't know, but I caught that the next day, and it was fucking terrible. It was terrible on Thursday, and then it was the worst on Friday. It was Thursday night, I think, right? When I felt it. Came down with it. And then Friday early in the morning is when I was throwing up. So early in the morning, got up, had to throw up, and then it was like a fucking faucet out of my asshole. It was fucking terrible. I did not want to eat. I did not want to have anything. And you had gone through something already of this. So you were past this portion. You were in the recovery mode, no appetite, as I ended up being a couple days ago. But Friday was a fucking nightmare. And that's when I was like, I'm a strong believer in Murphy's Law because it was my final day before I go into work. And of course, I go down with this. So I'm like, the owner's out on vacation. He can't cover for me. One way or another, I have to go into work on Saturday. Let's fucking do this. And you said Leo and I with fucking crackers and Sprite. And then my mom set us up with Gatorade and crackers as well. So it was like we were set up for success regardless. But that Friday was the fucking worst. It was a nightmare.
I will say the one good thing that happened within that is Friday was actually my day off. So it wasn't like you had him, normally you have him by yourself on Fridays, and that wasn't the case. You had me where, you could just stay and relax. And thankfully, like you said, my family caught it too, like my whole family. I'm talking
my parents too.
Yeah, and your whole family caught it. And thankfully it moved through us much more quickly than it did for Leo, right? But then you also got a way that Leo doesn't know what he needs. So he's throwing up and then he just knows that he's hungry. Yeah. He just knows that food makes him feel better. So he's asking for food, but he doesn't understand. Just be hungry and you'll be fine, right? Just stop putting stuff in your stomach. So yeah, it took us, you went to work the next day. You said that you were okay for the majority of it. For me, it only lasted about 12 hours and I was back on my feet. Same with my dad. So thankfully, but yeah, it's the norovirus shit. It's everywhere right now. That's what the doctor said when we took Leo. She said, you can catch it in the grocery store. It's just, and it's such, Dad did some research and you can be contagious for up to 2 weeks. That's crazy. When you get it, which is insanity, right? And then it just onsets so quickly and just wrecks you.
One of my part-timers, she came down with it at about the same time as I did, and I think it was the same thing. So I'm like, that's why I'm like, I think it might be MegaCon because she was there as well for a few days.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And then my mom, my poor mom, so she got the norovirus too, and then right after came down with a cold. So it's like, fucking man, that's a awful 1-2 combo. Because for me, it was always like, I've had those, but it's always like, oh, okay, I recovered, and then I get that. Right. Because your body just kind of fights off everything at once. But in that case, she was suffering from both, which is fucking crummy as hell. So she's on the upswing now, thankfully, and Leo was patient zero. Yeah. He was the one that started all this.
He is.
Obviously, he's the most contagious because no one can not hug him.
Oh,
and no one can not kiss him.
When he doesn't feel good, you just have to hold him. Yeah. And make him feel better and just let him throw up on you because that's what he needs to do. But thankfully, we're all better. We're past it. Parents can appreciate this. Leo had normal poop today. So
it's like the confirmation.
Right. Like, oh, everything's better.
What has happened with you at work? Like, you've been putting in a lot of hours.
Oh, man. Yeah. So I finally...
Has the sheen worn off yet?
No, I still really enjoyed it. It's still a lot of fun. And the things that I'm seeing make me really happy. I guess a great example, right, is I was at work on Saturday and we were having technology issues, right? So nothing was printing, like no tickets, nothing. You didn't know what order you were going to make. You rung people up and the next person didn't know what to make. So we're having to write on every single cup what people were ordering. Of course, it's Memorial Day weekend. So people are out of school now. They're going to graduations. They're headed out for the weekend to go to the beach or whatever they're going to do. So we had lines out the door inside. The drive-thru was wrapped around the entire building. And, the drive-thru register is not working, so you're having to walk all the way over here to bring every single person up. It was a shit show, right? So we're just all working hard to get through one person at a time. Oh, on top of that, there wasn't enough coverage today, so a few of us were verbally told to come in early, but it wasn't changed on the schedule, so none of us showed up when we were asked to. So anyway, it was a shitty day, but it was time for my break, right? And I was like, no, it's fine. We're busy. I'm going to stay on the floor. We're going to get through this. I'll find time to eat later. And the person who was running the shift looked at me, and granted, they know I'm going to be a manager, right? When I'm a manager, it's different because then I will choose to stay on the floor. But they looked at me and they said, you are just as important as every other customer who walks through here. Go take care of yourself. And that was like, I almost cried, right? I had that little tear because I've never heard that before. I've never been put before the customer in a place that I've worked. And so to understand that that's the environment that I'm going into, that's the mindset, and that's what I get to be now. I don't have to say, I know you're hungry, but we need to take care of them. It's go take care of yourself so that you can take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's more companies should do that because that makes such a big difference. I digress. Moving forward, I'm now getting into the supervisor responsibilities. So it's not standing in a spot and making coffee all day, which is exhausting and one of the hardest things that I've ever done because it's so much. And I'd come home every night and just dream about making coffee because it's not something that I'm used to.
Right.
And I won't say it's out of my comfort zone because I know that I'll get it, but it's so different from anything that I've ever done that it was just mentally and physically exhausting every single day. So now I'm on into the shift supervisor role and doing more of what I'm used to. And so that's a lot easier. And so I'm sure that you saw it this week, right? I come home and I have time. I have the energy to clean. I come home and I have the energy to straighten things around the house and I gutted everything, right? I put all Leo's real baby stuff up in the attic and rearranged some things and was able to get more done around the house because now I have more energy. Now it's not physically and emotionally and mentally exhausting every single day. Mm-hmm. So I'm still really, really enjoying it. Getting more time back with you and Leo is great. I realized in the last 3 weeks, I've only missed 2 bath times. And when has that ever happened except when I've taken vacation? So it's really nice. I think I'm getting to the point where I have steady days off now after this next week. 8-day stretch coming up. But after that, I'll have normal days off, one of which will be with you, sometimes 2 of which will be with us together. And I think that'll make a big difference and be the positive change that we're looking for with this move.
Holding off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm holding until then.
We're almost there.
That makes no difference. Like when people say like almost, it's like, no, well, you still have to get through those things.
Yeah, we're almost there. But I did have the opportunity to binge some Lucifer.
Yeah, you did.
This week. I have 20 minutes left in the last episode. Just 20 minutes. It was only 10 episodes long in this season, but really good. Still a solid show. I really hope it continues because it seems like they left on a ginormous cliffhanger. That's what I heard, is that it's a huge cliffhanger. So we're just waiting for Netflix to renew that. And hopefully they do. I researched a little bit, right? And their matrix is kind of, if 70% of the show is watched, then they consider it success. So you just have to watch 7 episodes. So even if you guys don't care about Lucifer, right? Just let it play in the background.
And then hit continue every 3 episodes. Still watching.
Just get through 7 episodes. And then we're good, and they'll continue it. It's still one of my favorite shows. Leo likes it too. When they play the theme song, like nah, 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 Leo like claps, and he's like more.
He just loves music.
He does.
Yeah, do Papa Kelli a favor and stream some Lucifer. But that about does it for the podcast this week. Thank you so much for sticking with us to the very end.
Yeah.
Through the BroCat block and the rest of the news story. As always, the most effective thing you can do to help the show grow is to tell a friend, tell a family member, tell someone who might enjoy some of the things that we talk about every week.
Spread us like norovirus.
That's right, yeah. As contagious as the norovirus would help us out huge. So for any of you that have done that already, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to interact with us, head on over to thereasonsimbroke.com. You will find the link to everywhere you can find us. But I think we are most active on Twitter. I'm at Reasons I'm Broke. On Instagram at The Reasons I'm Broke. And Kelli, Palpa Kelli, is at
Palpa Kelli. That's Kelli spelled with an I.
Kelli with an I. If you tag her on Discord, which is also, there's a link in the description of today's show notes, she will answer. As long as you tag her, she will then come in and enlighten everyone with her presence.
Yes. I don't get notifications unless you at Palpa Kelli me.
So there you go. Tons of ways that you can reach out. If you want to submit a question at all at any time, definitely send it on over to us in whatever easiest way you can. Whatever's most convenient to you, we will receive it. So thank you so much for joining us this week. I am Juggler Daniel.
And I am Emperor Palpa Kelli.
And BroCat Core. All will be well.